I love my family, and I love humanity.
Yes.
Yeah.
And one of the greatest revolutionaries that ever lived throughout all time, Che Guevara once said, allow me to say at the risk of seeming ridiculous, but the true revolutionary is guided by great feelings of love. And that's who we are. We're here because we feel for each other, because we want to do for each other, and we want to struggle together against a common enemy. And if you're not here for that, get your intelligence pad and get the hell out of here. And take your leave your microphones here. Leave your tape recorders here. That big guy over there will shake you out and go out the door. Okay, so basically, what you got then is that at the end of the day, the Crown wraps up their case. What it is it says, the Crown says, well, you haven't been able to prove that you attempted to arrest George Bush because you didn't know that George Bush was on the other side of that door. I said, what? So then we probed some more. And there is basically the Crown says, well, if you had seen George Bush on the other side, then according to this law, you could have broke the line and tried to arrest him. Hey, like it or not, that's a victorious position for us.
That's right.
In the future.
That's right.
If you see him on the other side of the door, go get his ass. Go get his ass. Bring him down. Come on, here. Bring him down. Bring him down. Bring him down. Yeah, bring him down. That's our job. Intervention. That's what we're doing. We're running intervention because the clock is moving fast. We are 1 minute to midnight on the nuclear clock. That's how important this is. So now, the end result of today's proceedings, I don't get my witnesses to come on, but we got the Bush League entered as evidence, and we got Gail Davidson's position paper entered as evidence. Two major documents. Now, the judge is then, because he says, well, the technicality was, you didn't see Bush, so you can't claim you tried to arrest him. Now, Ramsey Clark, the former U.S. Attorney General, represented me during the Attica trials as my lawyer, personal friend for 35 years. I put him on the phone with Tony one day. He hadn't even put his teeth in yet that morning.
Ouch!
So hey, look, I ain't trying to hide nothing. All right, I got nothing to hide. Anything I ever got to say, I say it out front. I got no secret agendas, do I, Ed? Do I have a secret agenda? I have no secret agendas. Everything is brought out truthfully. This way they can't say you're conspiring to do anything. I ain't conspiring to nothing. I'm telling you like I see it, like it is. So we get on the phone with Ramsey, and Ramsey starts counseling him for half an hour about the law. So he says, well, should Split in the Sky go in there, and should he try to, to make the defense that he tried to arrest a war criminal? Ramsey says, I wouldn't even go there. He says, go in there and argue your right to freedom of expression under the Canadian Charters. Charters of right. Charters of right. And so ultimately, that's what the lawyer ended up having to do today. The Crown made their submissions. We made ours. The judge put the court date over to July or June 7th. On June the 7th, we will get a decision from the court. And I thought I was only facing up to 6 months in jail. But I'm actually been told today that I could face 2 years in jail. Oh. Now, let me put it to you this way, too. And you can believe this. and I'm going to make sure anybody all over the world knows this. If they put me in jail, what's to stop them from putting me on a rendition flight
That's right.
to one of the so-called many black sites of the CIA worldwide? What's to stop them from putting me on a flight worldwide like they did Maha Ara or like they did to Omar Kadar? What's to stop them from putting me on that flight? You know what's to stop them?
Us.
You.
Yeah.
You.
Us.
Let them know you, us, are not going to let that happen. Join the STS team. Get the word out there. We got to do it for each other.
That's right.
I'm not all I can do is do what I do. I do it from the heart. I do it from the mind. I bring them together and I let them know I am not going along. I am not complicit in the murders and the tortures and the 9/11s and the false flag operations. I am not about that, and I will fight it with every single thing I got, and the only way you're going to stop me is by killing me. And you know what? I'm almost 60 years old today, and look, I've lived a good, strong, healthy, moral, imperative life.
Yes.
Bring it on, baby. Bring it on. Thank you.
I'd like to, in terms of where we go now, where do we go now? Well, when we were looking ahead to the reality of a Calgary court date, realistically, the prospect that we would face some kind of kangaroo court, it seemed pretty likely on some level. And I have to say that Charles Davidson tried conscientiously. He's a young man, good intention. There were people I met, people in uniforms in the court, people who understand what the uniform has come to mean and seem, and wanted to make it clear that the human being inside the uniform understands how corrupt and the connotations of that uniform, but the human being inside wants to do something and show common humanity. So the concept came up, and Splitting the Sky, I'm proud to say, for about 10 years, I've had him as a lecturer in my classes. And I have taken some fairly hard kicks to the balls in the academy. Because you know that professors in the academy are not always really willing to, we have comfortable careers, we have tenure, we have a lot of protections. How many professors in the universities are really living up to their responsibilities? I'm not in the Department of Native American Studies now. I'm in something called Globalization Studies. I faced charges of gross professional misconduct. Then they were dropped. I'm now full professor. I've got this new unit, Globalization Studies. My volume 2 of The Bowl with One Spoon is about to come out, Earth into Property. I gave Cynthia in Paris, volume 1. I worked really hard with Splitting the Sky on scholarship. We do have a base. Here we are in the University of Calgary. We live in a time where the nature of criminality is so advanced. This came out when we were talking in class about Nuremberg. And we're saying, well, Nuremberg is back there in the 40s. And actually a really brilliant lawyer who used to represent the Spetten defenders in BC, Bruce Clark, he would talk about the 1704 Queen Anne's decision and the reality that judges in this country are not in a position to judge Aboriginal matters because they have a vested interest. There's no third-party adjudication. And he would talk about this 1704 ruling, Connecticut versus Mohegan, where Queen Anne's Privy Council actually said the judges of Connecticut